This video will demonstrate setting up the GL interface for Accounts Receivable. From the main DAC menu, select options 1 File Maintenance, 7 GL Interface Maintenance, and 1 Work with GL Interface. The GL interface screen displayed is for setting up all GL interfaces. In this session, we'll set up and review the AR interface, which is application code 001. The two primary types we'll focus on are A for adjustment and P for payment. From this screen, we'll go ahead and select our company that we'll want to set the interface up for and our application code. So we're using company 001 and application code 001. We'll first set up a record for a payment, and this would be a regular payment, just a normal AR payment to a customer's account. We're going to press F10 to add. We'll do a transaction type P for payment. A reason code blank because normal payments would be blank, and a GL interface company of 001 because that's our company. On the left side, we have our debit information, and on our right side, we have a credit information. So on a payment, it would normally debit your cash account and credit your accounts receivable account. So we'll enter the cost center first, which in our case is 10. I'm going to field exit and go over to the GL account number, which is 100 for my bank account. I'm going to field plus through the other fields. At my credit information, I'm going to put the cost center for my credit account and the GL account number, which is 120, which is accounts receivable. I press enter and enter to confirm, and then I'm going to 3, and that's going to add my payment record here. So I'll have a payment record for regular payments, and it's going to debit GL account 100 and credit GL account 120. Now I could also have other payment records for if I had post-dated checks and I wanted to post them to a different account, like this holding account, I would set up the record there. If I had a different bank account, like I have a different bank, a Chase account that I also want to post a payment to, then I could set up another record for that, and I'll press F10. It'll be a type P, and then it'll be the reason code I'm going to use, which is a 2. And I'll put in my same company, 001, and I put in my cost center of 10, and my GL account number for my Chase Bank is 101, so I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put, for my credit information, I'm going to put in cost center 10, and I'm going to use the same account for the accounts receivable. So you see that this payment will be posted to the Chase checking account rather than the PNB account. So I'm going to press enter. So, and I'm going to F3, and now I have the record created for the Chase bank account. Now, when I would enter the payment in AR, I would make sure that for anything that's posted to the Chase bank account, that I would always use the reason code 2. Normal payments, I leave the reason code blank. So that kind of shows us how to set up the payment records for the AR interface. We also need adjustment records, and we need one for each AR adjustment that we have. And this is an example here of the AR adjustments we have set up. So for each AR adjustment you have set up, you would probably need to set up a reason code. Now, in this example, for our payments, we used reason codes there. You may not necessarily need those for a regular adjustment because you may not be using those for that type of transaction. But for an example, we'll go back. We have an adjustment type A, and we'll go ahead and set the interface up for that because this would be a good example of a reversal to reverse out the regular payment. So I'm going to press F10, put my transaction type of A. My reason code is going to be an A. and my company is going to be 001. I put the debit information first, which would be my cost center, and my GL account number, which is going to be accounts receivable. On adjustment interface records, you would always put the account that where AR would be a normal debit account. If a credit adjustment is entered, the system will reverse it for you. So in this case, we're going to set up the cost center and the GL account number for accounts receivable as the debit. And then we're going to go over to the credit information, and that's where we're going to do the offsetting bank account number for the credit information, so that that transaction would reverse out if we were trying to reverse out a payment. So if you can see down here, the adjustment we just entered is going to debit accounts receivable and credit cash, and that would be for a normal debit adjustment. But for the payment, what it's going to do is it's going to debit cash, and it's going to credit the accounts receivable account. To edit a record that's already set up, you just use a 2 to edit and press enter and make any changes that you need if you need to change the bank account, and then press enter again. If you had a transaction, maybe a reason code you were no longer using, you could go in to that transaction, and you could use the F11 to delete it, but just make sure that you're no longer using that reason code. And at the top of the screen, you can position to the type. If we wanted to just go to payments, and it would just show our application code for payments. If we wanted to search for a debit or credit account, we would put those in one at a time, and that would just show us those interface records that are set up. So this concludes the GL interface for accounts receivable.